don't send a human to do a robot's job. This is how Saab could help out in finding one of the most sought-after shipwrecks. This is also a story about how underwater robotics work, scanning a vast area at the bottom of the sea at a depth of 3,000 meters. Join us as we travel far down south where Sir Ernest Shackleton's ship, the Endurance, was finally found by an autonomous underwater vehicle. The year is 1915 and Sir Ernest Shackleton, a renowned explorer, has the previous year in 1914 set out to establish a base on Antarctica's Weddell Sea coast. An undertaking that did not end well. Today the ship the Endurance sleeps at the bottom of the Weddell Sea, which is covered by ice for a large part of the year, and this makes the Endurance one of the hardest to reach shipwrecks. And she hasn't been seen since she went under, until now. The solution? Except for the obviously much-needed dedication from the expedition's crew, underwater robotics, which is what we'll dig into in this episode of Let's Talk About Tech. What would you like to know when it comes to defense technology or perhaps just tech in general? Let us know in the comment section below. So, back to the story. In February 2022, the Expedition Endurance 22 set sail for the Antarctic, and on board the expedition ship Agulhas II were two saber-tooth underwater vehicles, along with two Saab employees, Thomas Andreasson and Lars Lundberg. And the Antarctic in February, cold weather and a lot of ice, makes an expedition a tough challenge, especially as it takes place 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet below the surface, which brings us to the topic of pressure. Given that the saber-tooth underwater vehicles need to be able to steadily operate at rather extreme depths, in icy conditions with temperatures close to the freezing point, all vital components need to be tested and verified. The saber-tooth underwater vehicles are rated for 3,000 meters depth, and the pressure tests carried out exceeds the actual needed depth, so you could say that there is a buffered zone, if you wish, in its depth capabilities. Now let's have a look at working these machines. The actual launch and descent of the underwater vehicle is pretty straightforward. Once put into the ocean, it's given instructions. In this case, to dive to the required depth and then start scanning the bottom for anomalies in the bottom topography. Whenever something is found, it registers the finding and sends out an alert, and this is of course the easy way of describing it. And the cable that you can see on this infographic was used during the expedition. It's a 3.5mm Kevlar reinforced optic cable that can bear up to 500 kilograms and works as a safety and communications line. But of course the AUV could also work without it. So, if there is an alert, the operator can, whenever needed, overwrite the autonomous systems and start driving it remotely through screens on board the surface ship, activating lights and ordinary cameras for a quick checkout on the finding. Now, keep watching for the big reveal coming up shortly. The search for the Endurance was performed by an autonomous underwater robot. So, what does autonomous mean? To answer this, we need to quickly dig into the world of AI and/or, to be even more precise, intelligent systems and autonomy. So what are those intelligent systems really? A short, commonly used description is that machines are intelligent to the extent that their actions can be expected to achieve their objectives without the direct control of a human. Turn left or right when needed, for instance. Another common way of working with AI is to let a machine recognize certain patterns, say a cat for instance, and make a note each time a cat appears. You get the idea. The robots used in these expeditions have been programmed to survey the bottom topography, searching for disruptive patterns that stand out from the average bottom topography. So in this case, the underwater robots have been tasked with searching an area equivalent to 300 square kilometers, meter by meter, not returning to previous points where they have already been, thus combing the area for findings. Do you want to learn more about AI or autonomous systems? Then check out the Zero Pressure podcast. Available on all major platforms, link and more info in the description. Using only normal cameras for perception underwater could work for shorter ranges. But a normal camera, as you know, needs light in order to take any images. And when diving deep, there is simply not enough light, or should we say no light at all. And for that reason, the most common way for seeing underwater is through sonar sensors, which send out signals that bounces back from any object from even longer distances, thus revealing it. The Sabertooth vehicle used in the Endurance 22 expedition was rigged with 2 sonar sensors shooting on its left and right side. And in the middle, at the belly of the robot, if we may say so, is a third sensor bridging the gap between the left and right sensor. And in addition to this, the surroundings were also scanned with laser, or a LiDAR as it's called, often used as a complement for shorter ranges to sonar sensors, for quick feedback and further data collection. And a third way of filming the bottom of the sea is through 3D slamming, where SLAM stands for Simultaneous Localization and Mapping. Slamming needs stereo visuals in order to perceive depth and measure distances, just like the human brain needs 2 eyes. The 2 camera feeds are then translated in an onboard computer, rendering a 3D version of the film material, and this is done extremely fast. Regardless of what technique is being used, once you really hit the target and want to have a real peek with full visual imagery, switch on the light and HD underwater cameras and enjoy some incredible imagery. It is actually possible to convert the film that you see here into 3D rendered versions, which will give us a lot more details and knowledge of the finding. And we hope to be able to bring you some of these in the future. But when it comes to finding something famous, you might just want to see it with real video first. Thank you all so much for all the questions that have been pouring in since the first episode a few weeks back. Keep them coming. We'd really like to keep talking, and more precisely, talk about tech.